don't know it. I'm losing my way. You should hope, maybe pray. I don't show it. I am sharp as a blade, the same one I cut with. And as blunt as I was, I am as strong as I was on that day, that day, that day. I am the same person now as the one that you dealt with, but I think that I've changed, though I try not to show it. I am lost, but I don't want you to find me. I will find my own way. That's the only way that I can be myself. But I don't want you to find me. I will find my own way. That's the only way that it can be. But I don't want you to find me. I will find my own way. That's the only way that it can be. I am lost, losing myself, losing myself. I am lost, I am lost. I am lost, losing myself, losing myself. I am lost, losing myself. I am lost.
Sorry about the delay, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to go live in a moment. We're just having some technical issues on Revive side. We will be back in a minute or so. In the meantime, enjoy Lost again until everything's resolved. Just so you know, there's no technical issues on this side. We just have a technical issue on Revive side. So give it a moment and we'll be back. Sorry about the delay. Okay, I hope everything is going right now. I hope that the technical issues are resolved. Are we live? Hopefully.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yes, are we live fully? Hell yeah.
I think we're good.
Welcome everybody to episode 2 of the Zcast. Hope you guys are gonna enjoy it. We're gonna be talking about some great topics that was discussed last week. We're gonna be talking about some Outbreak. We're gonna be talking about the Treyarch interview with IGN, which was really interesting. And we're gonna be talking about ZWC, but also Z4C3. With a special guest today, Yuija. I don't think Yuija's here right now, or is he?
I am. Hello.
There he is. Hey. So talk a bit about yourself.
My name is Ouija. I'm one of the 3 frontmen of Z4C3, leading it this year. I'm actually gonna start up my YouTube channel again in the coming days. I'm gonna upload a video. But yeah, I'm here. You know. So that's all I gotta say about me.
Yeah. If you guys want to see what Yuija makes and stuff, he has a DeviantArt. I linked it down in the description, so check it out. He has some great stuff on there, including the Z4C3 poster. So go download that, go check his stuff out. He is insane with his stuff. Alright, Revive, you want to kick this one off?
Yeah, so what's going on, everyone? We are on episode 2 of the podcast. There's going to be a lot of things to talk about today, a lot of things. We have Outbreak, we have the IGN blog with the Treyarch and everything to go over, and we have a lot of things to go over today with our guest Yuija, so yeah, we should get started.
Indeed. I think it's best if we just go first into all three of us, our initial reactions to Outbreak. Since it came out last week, we played it and we had a lot of fun, I think at least. There were some few bugs on PS5 side, but that got resolved within a few days. I've been enjoying it, I'm still playing it to this day, and I do like this crystal system in it. And it's a lot of rewarding, more than just normal zombies, with the double XP rate and the weapon XP rate.
Yeah. I think it's really good for crystals. It's really good for crystals. I found it's really helpful for that. Get a lot of crystals. It's pretty fun. I think with the vehicles and everything, the big maps. I think it pretty good experience. I mean, there was a couple of bugs at launch, but I had an alright time with it. I know some people didn't, but that's alright.
I've been enjoying it so far. It's like giving it about like a week of game time. I actually played it before it came out because there was a way to do it.
Yep, you and me together.
Yeah, it really kind of played the same besides the challenges and besides also the Ethereum crystals. But the game mode itself is very promising. You know, I hope there's more to it, and I've been hearing that they're gonna eventually do stuff with the mode ahead of its time. Because there's a lot of possibilities with this map. With the map alone, and then the game mode alone. I mean, Transit, Alcatraz, maybe depending on how what to spin that for the mode itself. But the Ethereum crystals also, it's kind of a game changer. You know, we have extra tiers to our upgrades that
Yep.
make us more enhanced. It made the gameplay a lot more easier, but really, in the end, it's just more fun, chaotic things to do while you're in game. Like Deadwire Tier 5 is literally BO3 Deadwire Tier 5, which is amazing. So yeah, I mean, I think it's great so far what they've released so far for Season 2. Hopefully there's more,
Yep. And I do have to say, with the Tier 5s being introduced, they kind of balance it out with Outbreak right now, since the later rounds are really hard to do. So I do think they found a good balance between the Tier 5s upgrades and Outbreak itself. Since it gets higher and higher, since every round counts up to, I think, 5 to 7 rounds. So if you're at like round 10, you're at round 70. So you're gonna have max amount of damage output. So you're just gonna have to watch your armor. You're gonna have to watch your AETs, cause let's just talk about Shadow Blast. My man's is so OP. My man's is so OP. I love it.
Yep.
I freaking love it.
But yeah, the speaking of the Outbreak and everything with that, and the later rounds and stuff, the ray gun did get fixed, so that should make that a little bit easier. So You can actually use the ray gun now without your armor completely depleting itself. So that's
Yep.
That was
great.
really annoying. That was really,
That
really
was that was really annoying. Basically, you couldn't use the ray gun on 9 rounds. Now you can
Mhm.
to a certain extent. So I think it's pretty good for people that want to do that. I think it's a pretty big game changer to the ray gun because it just allows for more diversity, and using what wonder weapons you want to do.
Yep.
So yeah. But yeah, with Outbreak, I think it's really interesting what the premise is, because if it does, like, we know there's going to be an Easter egg, and I think when that does happen, I'm really curious to see how people receive it. If they're going to start receiving it more as like a map, or if it's going to be more like a side mode. It's going to be weird, because if it has its own main quest, it's going to feel more like a map experience, but a different type of map experience.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there.
So what I was thinking with that is also because I think season 2 is ending in April, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. So we might be seeing, in the meantime, we might see an Easter event coming in to Outbreak. So that might be an Easter egg itself. Because I was thinking about it, they could do a lot with an Easter event with an Outbreak. But they can also give each map their own Easter egg. So since we have 3 characters, we have Carver, we have Gray, and we have Strauss, why not make it so that every map is focused on one of those people, and that's going to be their Easter egg. They're going to have one quest for you to solve. You need to do that. Strauss needs Ethereum.
Yeah.
Find like a giant depot of Ethereum and send it.
And when you actually, to add on that, when you're doing that Easter egg for that certain character, I feel like you should be locked out of not all the other maps available, because if you're doing an Easter egg, it has to lead to something, unless
Yeah.
each map is going to lead to a certain end goal, and then when you finally teleport again, you get to the to the final Easter egg part. You do that part, and then you get into a boss fight of some sorts that maybe you fight 2 orders or something, which I hope that's the case. There's even a calling card you get from the Outbreak, I think, or it's just a dark up. No, a regular call. It was just a calling card that has 2 orders walking down. I
Oh,
think they added. So it's a little interesting thing that, hey, why would you have that? Like, they even had the Panzer, but the Panzer you fight in Outbreak as a calling card before, so it kind of leads to believe that maybe you fight 2 orders at the same time.
could
And
be.
who knows? So maybe with that, like, maybe that's just the Easter egg. That could be the Easter egg. Maybe lock you in one map, do the entire Easter egg, and then you have to finish it all with the last 2 maps, and then boom, it's the boss fight.
Yeah,
I'd like to see that.
I think that will be
I
cool.
think-
I don't have
Yeah.
to pull it off though.
Because, in a way, I'm going to give some controversy right here. I'm going to be talking about World War II, the torture path. Just a heads up, okay? I know people don't like it, but we have seen something like that, and I do think we might be seeing that as an Easter egg. So every map is going to be its own reward, and it's finally going to lead up like a super Easter egg to a final reward on the end of the road. I think that will be really cool. Like the
Yeah.
Sword of Barbarossa was a really good touch at the end of the torture path, that you could use it actually, and that you could actually get it on the other maps after completing that. So I think that was a really good reward for people who actually did it. So if they could do something with that in these modes, like, I'm just gonna say this out here. What if they're gonna do season 3 and we're gonna introduce a new wonder weapon to our arsenal? And instead of getting it from the box, you have to complete the Easter egg for it. And if you complete
It's
the
like an
Easter
all-around
egg,
weapon.
you get it in a mystery box. I think that
You
would be
could
cool.
also create a class as well.
Yeah.
Like, that could probably lead to it. I mean, if we were to have an all-around one, the weapon you get from the Easter egg would be great. But it has to be balanced too, because you don't want a broken wonder weapon. Or
True
like
that.
a certain wonder thing that makes it so, I don't have to use my common assault rifle anymore. I can use my wonder weapon for the rest of the match, and you don't want that, because then the community is going to be in an uproar about that. I'd probably be in an uproar because I don't want it to be that easy, but if you want to have your fun, you can have your fun. But I think having that type of way would kind of kill the whole creative class mentality. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you just brought this class that you're not going to even use when you have a wonder weapon. But definitely in that way of a Barbarossa, I can't even say the word, Barbarossa sword.
Yeah.
In a way that it's a wonder weapon, but it's not a wonder weapon.
Yeah.
In that sense, that'd be great. It'd be a great thing to add to the creative class system, or maybe just in general when you load into the map.
Yeah. I think it will be great as well, since They tried something like that in the torture path actually as a reward for killing each boss every time. You got like a weapon part which increases your damage. Do you remember that, you guys?
Well, this didn't inform a lot of people because I never done all the Infinite Warfare Easter eggs, and then neither the Sledgehammer Easter eggs. I kind of stopped playing World War II Zombies when the Darkest Shore came out because that left a bad taste in my mouth. You know, the
Yeah.
fog and that goddamn creature that comes at you. You know,
Moist
But,
lead.
yeah, I didn't get to play. I didn't play those maps. I really don't have an experience in those maps. Now I have them, but I still need to beat those Easter eggs. But no, I haven't really experienced that thing. You know, fighting those or obtaining those. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
just put it there.
So what they did at the end of every time is you fight at round 10, you fight a boss, and then he drops an engineer part, which increases your weapon damage in that mode. So instead of doing normal 100% damage, you do 100, I think it's 20% extra damage. So it's 120% of the damage with a weapon. And you could do that for every single weapon. So if they put something like that in here, I think that would feel rewarding for players to use weapons more often. Like imagine if you get it for, I'm just gonna say the AK-74U. You're gonna get 120% extra damage. You're gonna be, oh shit, I gotta use that more. And then you should not make it just for Outbreak itself, but for the whole mode itself. I think that will be a really good way for Treyarch to put that system in there, and also reward the players.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's a good way to do it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think Outbreak has a lot of things that it can do better and make the mode feel even more like a unique experience. And I think that they could do a really good job with it.
Yeah.
I think it could help a lot with the content problems. So, yeah.
The one thing which is also interesting is in the customs menu for the vehicle skins. They also put like the helicopter and the tank in it. So I wonder when we're gonna see those in zombies. I think it will be freaking awesome to ride a tank in Alpine, just down the mountain through those zombies. I think that will be so cool.
They definitely do a lot with Outbreak. I would love, since you say that, I would love them to add dragons that you can actually fight, like Skyrim type stuff.
That would be cool.
If you don't have yeah, you're on a chopper. Because I think in Rebirth, when they had the choppers in, you know, they had the miniguns, right? Attached to it, right? So imagine just having a minigun attached to a chopper. Your friend is just flying it around, and the dragon is just breathing fire on you.
I think that would be cool.
Or that'd be insane. That'd give variety, you know, to zombies actually itself, because we never really had like a sky fight, you know, like a very dog fight or anything just similar to having an aerial battle. I would love to see that, you know, especially because now they're bringing back enemies from the past. I would love to see the dragon from Gorod to come back just to, you know, bully us and stuff, but you know, do it in a way where we're fighting in the air, not just ground.
Yeah.
That's how I'd see.
And also talking about that, they can do anything with the Dark Ether right now.
Oh yeah.
They could legit take the planes from Origins and put them in there above it. Or we could go on the Icarus and have a dogfight in there. I don't know, we could do that. We have every possibility with the Dark Ether right now. And I think that will be a really cool objective. Just get into a plane, like a World War II bomber or something, and you're just gonna have a dogfight in the air.
That'd be pretty cool, honestly. Yeah, I think it'd be cool to have like a different sort of fight in zombies. We really haven't had that before. I think with Cold War, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with boss fights and things like that. Because so far, it seems like they're trying to dumb them down for the casual, but we'll see what happens in the future.
If they're gonna dumb them down for the casual, I would want them to make them really, really fun though, not just really boring in a sense. Like with that whole aerial battle thing, imagine, you know how BO3 it was regular running, but in Revelations, or actually in DE in general, you had like you had the wall running mechanics in the game as well, in those like aspects of the buildings.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see something like that. Like maybe the floor is collapsing, so you start like doing like running like some kind of death run, temple run type thing, that you have to be on the move, have to be paying attention. But it's also a little easy for the casual to know and understand. But I would love to see something like that in an Easter egg boss fight, because we kind of been used to the whole, oh, stay here, fill up his generator, attach him to the guy, kill him, or kill this guy and that's it, or hide from him, or there's not that much variety in boss fight wise,
Yeah.
So I would love to see something like that where it incentivizes you that you have to be running around and quickly trying to get away from everything. Something like that would be amazing for boss fight wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like with how big the play spaces are in Outbreak,
Oh yeah,
they could definitely
They
do
could
really
definitely do
cool.
that.
Maybe like there's like separate there's like different areas where the boss fight can occur. Or maybe it's like the dragon flies over to the other side of the map and you have to go find him and go shoot him or something like that, and you can go fly to him or something like that. That'd be really cool, because Outbreak, I think the thing with Outbreak is I really think that Treyarch wants people to like this mode almost as if it's like another way to produce zombie maps. So, 'cause
Yeah.
then when they can do that, they can produce new ideas, new Easter eggs that will still make sense of the story, but it also will create a less feeling of there's not enough content. Because if you do play Outbreak, you're gonna have the feeling that there's gonna be content more often, because you're gonna have regular zombie maps.
Yep.
And then this, which could produce new ideas that maybe they can't necessarily do in the regular game mode because of restrictions, but in Outbreak they can.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that could work a lot.
I think also with the normal maps included right now, I think what they should do is they should add the Tempest and the Mangler and the Panzer some way in the machine inside the Dark Aether. I think it will make it more rewarding for players if they could go into the Dark Aether and they could kill one of these bosses, and they could maybe get like a perk drop or like a ray gun from the ground, just like we have an Outbreak. I think that will make the machine more replayable for people as well, since they're like, we have risk reward with the loot itself. So they could either choose safely by just doing high rounds on the machine, or they could go into the Dark Aether, grab one of these bosses, kill them, and then boom, got a ray gun, making it much more easier for in the future. And if you go into the Dark Aether more, you get like more weapons. Like you could even get the Ray K maybe on the machine. You never know.
Yeah.
I think that will be really cool, and replayability will be high for that, since we're gonna get all the weapons back. Like, we're gonna get Samantha tomorrow, and we're gonna be doing Firebase C rescuing Samantha as Samantha. Like, come on. If you're gonna be like, oh, there's story and everything, then don't put that in. I think if they do this is the right formula.
Now the one thing I would say with that though, Flammer, is I do want Outbreak to kind of feel like its own thing. I don't want them to kind of ruin the flavor of the map, just because I think the one thing that makes it feel so unique is all the bosses and all the different types of enemy that we don't see in the other maps. Yes, we have Megatons, we have the
Mangler,
the Megatons, we have the Mangler, we have the
Mimic.
we have all those guys, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want them to take the ones that are special to that map of Outbreak and not ruin it, but just make it so it's not unique to Outbreak, because then you're kind of losing that unique flavor that Outbreak brings to the table. Because with the Megatons, I think it's I definitely think there should have been more bosses, and definitely not the Megaton being the only boss. But then again, it kind of makes the machine its own thing, like it's its own unique thing. Like you think of the machine, you think of the Megatons and the dog and the gas dogs, right? But like if you think of Firebase, you're gonna think of a certain type of enemy. But if you think of Outbreak, it's gonna be kind of just a mishmash of everything, plus new enemies like the Tempest and the Panzers. I don't know if I would want them to make every other map feel the same, because then it would lose its flavor when you hop on Outbreak for one game and be like, oh, I see these new enemies I haven't faced before. Other than, okay, I just played Firebase Z, or I played D Machine, and I just killed all these Tempests, killed all these Panthers. There's nothing new, right? So it's like, why am I doing this? But, Outbreak, having that unique enemy type might induce the player to play that map, or play Outbreak instead of playing another map. I think that's why I don't want them to necessarily copy and paste every single boss, but maybe in the future maps they can add one of these bosses to a map or something. But
they'll definitely add the Tempest. They'll definitely add him.
Yeah, I think adding them in slowly and choosing which ones could be good, but I don't think they should just completely just put all the zombies on the maps, because then it
Yeah.
might feel a little bit too much. But yeah, I think just hand dropping and picking a few is definitely a good idea for those in the future.
I can consider that Outbreak is just a testing ground for new stuff they add. You know, or
Mhm.
maybe it's just a testing ground for something bigger that they might do, or this is the thing that they've been always working on. That's the case, but maybe something bigger that we don't even know about, and they're currently working on. But I want to say like that it's definitely a testing ground for certain zombies that to see how it works, see if the game if it's gonna be buggy if you were to put the Tempest in, so you can
Mhm.
always bring it back and put it in the future map.
Yeah.
You never know. So I think it's a testing ground, and I think it might just be that way, just to get an understanding if the game doesn't crash for having a certain zombie in it. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same here. All right, guys. What would you say is your favorite map out of the three we have right now?
I think mine's Alpine, just because I just love gliding over the hills. It's just so it's so quick when you're doing an objective there. You just boom, just go glide, and then you're already at the objective, and you just get in, get out. It's really easy, really fresh feeling every time you do it. It's really I think gliding just across the mountains and just be able to do that's really fun. So yeah, I had to go with Alpine.
All right, Yuja?
Like, I don't know. I think Alpine might be the one, honestly.
Alright.
I
Yeah.
like Ruka, but I don't know. It's Alpine has like maybe it's just the color of it because it's so bright that I'm not like depressed playing the map. But I do also like Gulov because it reminds me a lot of Blackout in a sense.
Yeah.
That color scheme that they have,
Yeah.
and I'm glad they bring that over to Gulov. It's been a while since we've seen that color palette, even though some of the Fire Team maps already have that type of color palette. I think Gulov just kind of just blows it out of the water, in my opinion. But I don't know. Maybe Alpine, because I liked Alpine in the beta, when Cold War had the that beta.
Oh, yeah.
So I definitely say I had more time with that map than any other map. So I say Alpine. It's my favorite map
Alright.
out of the three.
All right. Yeah, I agree.
Mine is Golova.
Hmm.
Golova.
Yeah. It's because you said it, it's the Blackout aesthetic, but there's also way more areas where you could go to. So you could go to the town itself, or you could go to a garage on the side, you could go into the field. And I think that's a really good thing they did. And there's also the bridge you can go to. And I think it's really fun when you're doing the monkey escort step. That it just yeets itself into the distance to every single area, and I just love that. And then at the end, it stops in the garage with a big giant battle against like a mangler. And I think that's a really good way to have this map set up. And also the church being the way where you put the brain, like the zombie hat. I think it's a really good area since you can hold out there. And the holdout itself is really fun since it's basically a tiny square room where you have to hold out with your team. And it's not like the ones on Alpine and Ruka where it's a big area where you have to run around with. But no, this is really small.
Yeah.
So it's really hectic,
I
but
think-
also
yeah.
chaotic. And that's the fun part about it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's definitely a lot easier to just talk to your teammates and make sure that things will get overrun. So yeah, I definitely like that area too for that. That's probably my favorite holdout.
Yeah.
Probably because it's just less. You feel like it can be more chaotic, but you're less like, okay, what the hell is going on? Like
Yeah.
there's enemies everywhere. Like I can't do this. But with that one, it's a lot easier. It's kind of like a first like a one room challenge, right? Where
Yeah,
you each get there,
indeed.
you each cover. So I think it's really good, really strategic. So yeah, I'd probably go with that one too as my favorite.
All right. I think that settles it right now for the Outbreak section. How about we go into this
Yeah.
Treyarch interview with IGN, which was really interesting to read about. So, Revive, what was your
Yeah.
thoughts about it?
So when I first read it, I kind of was not disappointed, but kind of like, okay, kind of expected that, but like still kind of just more like, is that really how they're gonna think about this the whole time through the season? Because people saying that, this opens up the possibility to more people to do the Easter egg, and I agree. I think that's great that more people are doing the Easter egg than ever before.
Yeah.
But there's something that like I just hope in the future that they can, maybe make it more difficult as we go on, because if you think about it this way, D Machine and Firebase Z are quite easy Easter eggs, right, for the casual audience to do. Well,
Yeah.
what if you made it so in the future you crank the difficulty up a little bit, and maybe until we get to DLC 4 where they maybe turn it really up, and then maybe that map will kind of be the map of, okay, this is really going to be a hard hunt, and it's going to be something that the hardcore fans can take in, but also the casuals will want to do because it'll be their last Easter egg, and they're going to feel more inclined to do it because they've completed all the other ones because they are more suited towards the casual player. But with that interview, it's really interesting how they word things, that they want to leave things less obscure, which zombies, I kind of like how they made things obscure sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it added to the diversity in gameplay, because not everything was such a... Like, they had things that once you learned how to do it, it was very easy, but then they also had things where at first it was hard to solve and hard to master, but once you did, it rewarded the player for doing so. And I kind of hope that they put some of that. I'm not gonna be too optimistic or something like that, but I really hope in the future they have it so there's more opportunity to create a different strategy for the player. Just because I kind of miss the harder steps that after a while take a while to master. But
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think definitely what I think the biggest takeaway is, I hope Treyarch, as they go forward, think about both player bases, the hardcore and the casual, because both do matter.
Yeah.
And the hardcore is kind of the players that have been sticking around for a while. I think it's good to throw them a bone once in a while and just make sure they don't lose that player base, because that player base is important. And we've seen what happened with COD multiplayer, where you lose a lot of the hardcore audience because you go towards the newer audience, which can have a lot of down effects. So yeah.
Yep.
Let's just hope zombies doesn't have the same effect.
All right.
When I read it, in a sense, I took in, like, I understood what they were doing, and I'm glad they told the truth, and they're not gonna just stay quiet about it, like, about the whole, oh, it's not for casuals, like the whole Activision thing, like, we know that they're doing it for casuals, the whole SPMM thing, which I don't want to get into at all, but I'm glad that Treyarch stepped up, like, hey, I know you guys realize that it is a lot easier than ever before, and we want to tell you why, and I understood why. I'm not angry about it, and I want to take that part where Revive said, where maybe in the future the match will be harder. What I realized is, from D Machine to Firebase, the difficulty got a little harder. It got a little harder. It wasn't.
Yep.
It wasn't like a leap for difficulty. But I saw the jump from how hard the map was, how complex it still got. In a sense, the Easter egg steps were way easier than ever before. The D Machine Easter steps were way easier than ever before. Firebase has easy steps; they're just tedious.
Yeah.
And usually, zombie Treyarch, or any map that's really hard has tedious steps. We'll always have tedious steps. But I saw that switch up for a little bit. You had the mimics that were constantly spawning in, the mangler that was spawning in.
Yeah, they definitely turned up the difficulty.
Yeah.
I think the thing about Firebase Z is that I don't think the Easter egg steps are bad. I think the thing with D Machine is some of the steps are legitimately too easy, like literally too easy to do, and felt very boring to do. But with Firebase, I don't think that's the case. But the problem is that they literally give you the steps. They don't they walk your hand throughout the whole thing. They tell you, when you get near something, hey, you should go do this. Like, that's the things that kind of make it a little less lifeful and more, have more energy to the Easter egg, because you're the big thing about zombies is you're always like questioning yourself, okay, well, what could this be, or what does it have to do anything with the Easter egg, or stuff like that. But if less of that gets asked to yourself, and you're more like, okay, well, they just gave me a huge hint, so I better go here, like, I think what the big thing with Firebase is that it was a good step in a good direction with the actual steps. I think they were in a better direction there. But I think we just hope that there's less of holding your hand and more of harder to solve at first, but very easy to replicate. I think that's something that they need to go back to, because I think it worked.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think it worked.
One
For
thing.
sure. I mean, my bad. You go.
Well, one thing that I do agree with the holding hand thing. In the beginning, you can honestly see it, but later on, I'm just gonna take the Ethereum crystal step right now. Okay, so we're gonna have to find that mimic crystal, and I think that ramped up the difficulty a bit since we did not know what to do at first. We did not know we had to look at no black spots. And
Oh
I
yeah.
think if you're not looking at YouTube, I don't know who's gonna do that, but you know, there could be somebody who's gonna be figuring this out on their own and go like, yes, I figured it out. Because it is kind of a hard step if you don't know what to do. And I think what
Yeah.
we've been seeing with Die Machine is that we've started a la Final Reich with a casual Easter egg, and now we're ramping up the difficulty very, very slowly until we get to a DLC 4 or 5 when everything hits the fan and you're gonna have to use everything you've learned so far to figure out what's gonna happen next.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have a feeling that we're gonna be seeing some of these steps repeated in future DLCs, but in a harder way. Since they're learning us how to do this right now, but we're gonna do it in a harder way in the next ones. Because I think with the Berlin DLC, I don't know if you guys saw the intel and everything for it, is that Valentina is the one in charge of that facility. So I don't think we'll be holding hands together with Weaver since she's taking over the facility.
Yeah.
I think there might be interference, and that will be like, yo, Weaver's not helping you out in this one. You're on your own. Good luck. And I think that will be really
That could
interesting to
be-
see.
That could be definitely interesting with Berlin, because that's obviously being rumored to be the next map, just with the intel and everything leading towards that location. That could be interesting to see what happens, because they're on their home turf. So, how many more questions are there going to be? Because you're not maybe not going to have as much help, and plus there's going to be a lot more questions and things that maybe they just don't know about the area, because, or maybe they do know, but they're not. You know, it's a lot of different experience, because like Firebase Z with Vietnam, and then obviously the Machine of Poland, they're very, they're deserted, right? They're not like populated areas and things where people can easily be watching. But Berlin, it's in the middle of East Berlin. That's a pretty populated area. There's a lot of things going on. How are you going to hide a zombies outbreak in the middle of a huge city?
Indeed.
That's going to be something to see, and then maybe it's going to create a lot more chaos and a lot more maybe not challenge, but a lot more creativity about how they implement the steps into the city, and maybe we'll see that going forward. Maybe that's going to be a little bit more creative and a little bit more unique set of challenges, because so far we've had not simple Easter egg steps, more things that are, custom to, Easter eggs in general, go find this, press square on this,
Yeah.
go over here, shoot this, go in here, collect this soul, go bring it here. Like, there's a lot of that. Maybe we could see something different, something more original in this next map with the setting.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I
really
hope
do.
so as well. I think that DLC 2 is legit gonna be the make it or break it for the hardcore zombies fans. Because
Oh,
if
for sure.
if-
I agree with that.
if you look at it right now, Cold War Zombies is a good ass mode, But the zombie streamers don't stream it as often as they did with BO3 back in the day. Because it was more
It definitely,
hardcore.
Right, but you gotta also admit that it also did drive a lot of key players into the mode,
Yeah.
especially random streamers that you would not, like Tfue. You would not expect Tfue to play
Yeah.
zombies.
Yeah.
Or David Dobrik. Out of
Yeah,
these
David Dobrik was
random-
so weird to see. I was like,
That
what?
was so, like, what? Like, you gotta, also, these people have played zombies before, but they haven't played it since, like, BO1.
Yeah.
Tim hasn't played it in a long time, but it's like it's good to have that. I know that the veteran community is gonna get shafted maybe, depending on what happens next map.
Mm-hmm.
But I really kind of hope it does, but not really. I'm not saying that it should. I hope that every map it gets a little harder. Not like to the point where it's not over BO3 level, but it's like almost BO3 level, in a sense.
Yeah.
Because you do want the casuals to stay and play the mode, and they want to achieve what the YouTubers do. You also watch like YouTubers beat that challenge or that Easter egg. So we'll see. I don't really have a problem. I do in a sense, but I don't at the same time.
Yeah. The one thing which I think is really interesting in the interview itself is how he says that every person, there's only 2% who has completed an Easter egg. And I don't know if you guys in the podcast know, but I've made a video a month back talking about how many people have actually completed an Easter egg. And I was really stumped when you see the numbers I researched. I come across, like 30% to 40% did the Easter egg of all players. And then you hear from the guy in the interview, only 2% has done it. That has me really confused, because if you're gonna say an Easter egg, which you would say is replayable, that everybody has completed, you would say the Reisendrache, right?
Right.
Right. And still, the Reisendrache is only completed by 30% of the players who own it, and 50% by the players who own it on PS3. So it is really interesting how he got that number. I think if I ever had the chance of meeting this man, I would say, how did you get that number of 2%? Like, I am really interested with that.
Well, did he? Because I didn't really get to read it almost like all the way. Did he get it from BO3 or from BO4?
He said
Or
all
both
the
games?
Easter eggs. A
So,
person who completed
from
an Easter egg, there's only 2% who done it.
So then he's calling all the way back to BO1. Then he wouldn't
Yeah.
have 2%. That's insane.
Yeah,
Especially when you have a lot of modders in BO1 as well and BO2.
Yeah,
that
indeed.
have done Easter egg by accident. I've been given the transit achievement by accident by a hacker in BO2. So it technically counts as a completion. So to say that's 2%, that's cap. It shouldn't be 2%. It should at least be like,
indeed.
give or take, 45%. maybe.
Yeah. Like, I was so
Be fair.
confused because I looked at Moon. Moon is the most completed Easter egg on BO1. It has been completed by 70% of the players who own it. 70. How is that 2%?
Yeah, I honestly want to know. And if it says all Easter eggs, like,
Maybe in
maybe he
total.
meant to say, maybe in total, but still it wouldn't be 2%. That number is
Indeed.
too small for
It
to
is
be
too
considered
small
2%.
for us. Like, we
You're
know
talking
how
about
many
an
zombie
entire
players
world
there
as
are.
well. The guy is saying that 2% of humanity completed all the zombie Easter eggs.
Yeah.
No way. That'd be too low. 'Cause
That
then
would be too
I
low.
don't really know.
See, now here's another thing that I think has to be put into the mix here is with the actual maps in the past. I wonder how they calculate that data, because think about it this way: are they calculating it about the general player base of zombies? Because if that's the case, a lot of players don't even buy the DLC. So is that
Indeed.
what they're going off of?
Indeed.
Are they going off the player base of the casual guy who only bought the base game and only had, for say, Shadows of Evil, that only had that? Are they counting that player base? Because it seems like that's what's happening. They're not counting the actual player base of people who actually play these maps. More of
No.
the casual,
No,
zombies.
That still wouldn't
community.
be 2% to me. That would
No.
not be 2%.
Indeed.
but
It is.
Including the 3 launch maps, the 1 launch map, and then the other 1 launch map. That's like what, 6 maps. So you had BO1 didn't have an Easter egg until Ascension. So it would literally be BO2, BO3, BO4. There's no way in history that it'll be 2%. At least, to be fair, I'd give it 12%. At least,
Indeed.
because there's only launch maps. You don't have that much content.
Indeed.
But still, 2%, that's you're saying that no one played BO2, no one played BO3, and no one played BO4. BO4 should have a max of maybe a higher percentage, because it was 3 launch maps. 3 fully fledged Easter eggs. There is no way in hell, and if it is, then wow, I am dumbfounded by that fact
Yeah.
that I'm
So-
surprised we don't have any more.
So the only Easter egg I really checked in my research that was 2% was transit. That was 2% that people completed transit. But then if you go to BO4, yes, there were less players, but there were also more players who played zombies out of that. Like, BO4 was not played by most for multiplayer; it was for zombies for most of them. And a lot of people have completed actually 9 Easter egg, Voyage is lost, and then it's Above the Dead. But that's still around 5 to 6%. So I'm still dumbfounded by how he got this number.
Yeah. I'm not sure either. I guess they have internal numbers. I think there's something that people have to realize is them in the studio probably have more internal numbers to how things actually are going on.
Yeah.
And how the public sees it, because I think going off of achievements and stuff is cool and all, but I think they have a lot more tools to actually show them the real percentages of things.
Yeah.
I think that's what people maybe don't realize, is that they have internal numbers that just plainly just show more detailed responses. So yeah.
All right. Is there anything more you guys want to say about the interview, or do you want to go to the next fairing?
I think we said enough. I mean, we got our frustrations out, about it.
Yeah.
But in the end, like, it's their game. It's not, we're the community that plays it, but it's their game in the end. That's their vision and what they want to do, and I respect that altogether. I respected the way Modern Warfare was handled because they wanted new people to play that game, and in the end, I'm gonna get frustrated. We're all gonna get frustrated that it's not our way, but it's an all-around thing. Like it has to be fair.
Yeah.
We can't always have what we want, So I respect that decision, what they're going for.
Yeah.
In general.
Definitely. All right. Then we're gonna go to ZWC3. Woo! What a week it was. Wouldn't you guys say?
That week, the grinding for everybody that wanted to be in that event just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
I can give you a better percentage than that one guy in Treyarch, for grinding ZWC, So yeah, but that was a crazy announcement too, and that live stream they did with the oh my god, I'm gonna be so stupid because someone reminded me, please, of the podcast, Z podcast, right? I'm pretty sure.
The Division Z.
Yeah, God, all right, but yeah, they did that announcement then, and then they revealed that that's gonna happen, and I'm glad it's back. It's been a while since they've done a high tournament, for the players that play zombies, and I think it's well deserved. We've waited long enough for this to happen, so I'm glad it's back.
Yeah, indeed. What do you guys think of the challenges that were revealed? I think they were really interesting.
I would say interesting, yeah. Probably, they're really interesting, I would say. They haven't revealed the 8th challenge yet,
Yep.
so we're still waiting on that one, which is going to be interesting to see what happens. The maps are not the problem. I just really it's very interesting what kind of challenge they actually chose.
Yeah.
It's a little diverse in challenge set, but yeah, I think I'm definitely looking forward to it. The online tournament starts in, I believe, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Around 2 weeks from now, so almost there to that, and that's when things are going to really kick off, and we're going to see.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to see the zombie community, at least in the competitive side, or just that kind of the community, is going to definitely rise.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Especially.
The challenges were.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I think the challenges, in my opinion, I did realize how they're kind of I'm not saying this to I can do it, but they're kind of not the challenges you would expect for a tournament. Obviously they're trying to do the best they can and what is the offer, because they're doing Cold War this year as well. But I saw a lot of speedrunners were not too happy with what they were giving out, but you gotta understand that they know that a lot of people want to compete. It's not just the pros that want to throw themselves at the challenge, and people gotta understand that there are also people who are not that good at zombies that would trying to get good right now to become a pro player and participate in this event. So that's why those challenges are kind of balanced out. I'm not going for them, personally. If I were going for, I kind of wish they were a little harder, since it's a tournament, in the end. So, but I want to see what they do with the players and what when those challenges, they become a thing you have to grind for now. I think they're already. I'm not sure, but I hope that's the case, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing that I've seen a lot of people, and we're gonna, I think I'm just gonna, tease this maybe, but I think in the future we might do a podcast where we have someone on that might be competing in ZWC, at least trying to, so we can go over maybe a little bit more of their perspective on things. But I think one thing that people definitely are questioning is um, why they made a lot of challenges artificially, maybe not difficult, but for instance, the D machine and the D machine, they completely stripped you of anything basically in Cold War.
Yeah.
They took out basically all the systems in Cold War, which I get why, but I also don't think that really like why. Like think about it this way: if you have this new zombie game, every single reason why this zombie game is unique, you took that out of the competition.
Yeah, especially
That
with tier
kinda
4
just
and 5 being added
very
now.
yeah, it's very weird. Like some things I get obviously because it makes the game longer, but things like perks, why would you why do you need to like at least have some more diversity and just don't just completely strip of everything out because
Mm-hmm.
that kind of creates this weird dynamic to the game. But we'll see in the future how they do it, how exactly everything happens. We'll have to see. But I'm really excited to see everyone compete because we haven't had this really in we haven't had anything like this in almost 3 years. I think the zombie community definitely needed something like this because there hasn't been one in 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll see what happens. I think this is going to be pretty cool to see. But yeah,
I think it is really interesting for the challenges they chose, because there's one which is Goro Trophy Easter Egg Classics, I believe. Was it Classics or No Gums?
classic,
Classics, yeah.
classic.
So they put a really RNG heavy Easter egg in there with Classics. And the weird thing about that is if they're gonna do it competitor friendly, let's just call it that, right? Why do they put one of the hardest Easter eggs with RNG in there with Classics as well? Like I would have
think
been
too.
fine
Yeah.
with Megas, but we all know, who's gonna win this one, right? Since there's only
Well-
one person who's really grinding for that one.
Well, there's probably gonna be a couple people. We'll see though. But I think anything of GK is it's a lot of with speedrunning it. I've done it a few times. It's definitely like if you think of GK as an Easter egg and then speedrunning, it's a completely different thing. It's not even like there's so much RNG in that
Yeah.
map that's just plain in your face, and not having megas really. Like I'm gonna say this, if it was megas, I think you could see a lot more people try to focus on other things as well as doing that. But with it being classics, you're gonna see a lot more people only doing that and really putting a lot of hours in because it's a lot of RNG, it's a lot of runs you have to do over again. There's a lot of micro things you have to optimize,
Yeah.
Micro optimizations that you have to do. With megas, there's a lot. There's not less resets, but there's things that can help you out that could create more a fast game and also a lot less waiting on things. But classics, it's gonna see a lot more people that are just willing to just sit there and play the map over and over and really just get into the nitty gritty of it, which is probably gonna mean that it's gonna be a lot less people that are gonna actually have to go for that and have a good chance of getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, we even ran it back in Z4C2, Goro Trophy, and that was heated, let me just tell you that, with the RNG we had to work with. Like, it was your team, right, Revive, that crashed a few times? Team Big Time
they
Rushers, yeah.
There was a lot, and there's a lot of RNG when it comes to GK, specifically the dragons and the Groth modules, how fast you
Yep.
get them, the Mark 3s, you make sure you get them quick, and all that type of things. There's a lot of RNG in GK that people don't realize that literally save you so much time. The
Yep.
dragons being the big thing. So we're gonna see what happens with this. I'm really interested to see what challenge they do for the finals as well, because are they gonna do specifically a certain game, or are they gonna go do BO4, BO3, Cold War again? We'll have to see. But let's see with 8 challenges too. I think that's another thing we have to look out for. So yeah.
Alright. Do you have somebody who you guys are rooting for Zombies World Championship?
Obviously, Chuck, you know.
Yep,
The boy,
for
the
me as
lad,
well.
dude. He's running since this.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna hope for Chuck to
Yeah.
pull out. Dude, I really hope that he can show off that, because I think he has the potential to do it. I think
Yeah.
he is someone that not a lot of people look at when it comes to speedrunning, and but he's definitely someone that I think is definitely underrated
Yeah.
as a zombie player. He could definitely do a lot, and I think as long as he puts his mind to it, he can do a lot. So yeah,
Hey
let's
man,
see what happens.
he's been speedrunning since he came out of the womb, man. So all
yeah.
praise to him. You know, I really do hope he wins. He, besides all the memes and stuff, he really is a good player.
Yeah.
So I love you, Chuck, if you're watching. So no homo. So
Oh yes, for sure, dude. I'm really hyped to see what he can do because I'm definitely gonna be helping him in any way I can, just providing support for him because I think he definitely delivers it. So yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think of the lineup so far they've set for CWI?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. We had two more announcements this week. There are
Yeah.
two Spanish creators
Yeah.
in the
Fesk?
zombie community, which is definitely interesting to see. We also had Crazy Rabbit and Tim Hansen, which are two definitely, especially now, juggernauts in the community. So
Mhm.
that will definitely be interesting to see what happens. But we also have two Spanish creators, but I didn't think that would happen. But I think it's really cool. I think we have three more slots left, so we'll see what
Something like
happens
that,
with
yeah.
that. I think we have three or something more, which is gonna be interesting what they fill out the rest. But the two new guys that we have here that are Spanish creators definitely gonna be interesting to see.
Well,
ZWI, yeah.
well, Fesk was one of the players back in ZWC2.
Z2, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
no wonder why it looks so familiar. Because like
Yeah.
I kind of forgot the whole thing about
So-
one. You know. So yeah,
So-
it's interesting to see him. So I'm glad he's there.
So it's really good to see him come back to this, and I'm really excited for him to actually be back. Oh yeah, he was also in CWL. I forgot.
Oh, that's right.
And the one thing which I am interesting about is Zombies World Championships is supposed to be the place where the best zombies content players are, right? Zombies players.
Yeah.
Crazy Rabbit, pretty good zombies player, but I don't know why Tim Hansen is there.
I mean,
Well, is ZWI? I thought was ZWI Zombies World Invitational? Isn't that the more content creator type of event thing? Or not event, but there's I know there's ZWI, and then there's obviously the regular ZWC. If I'm not mistaken, isn't ZWI where it's kind of just the content creators just competing against each other? Or am I misunderstanding what it is exactly?
I don't remember exactly anymore, but I think it was that ZWL. That is where they're doing the LAN thing, so that's where the people compete against each other for the final spot. I think it was.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. So yeah, I know the 7 content creators. They have those 7 content creators, and then the final spot, the 8th spot, is ZWL. Like who's gonna be that one? Maybe it's a smaller content creator or someone unknown that gets put into the mix and gets the chance to have spotlight. So these are the more kind of known people, and then the final spot will be the lesser known content creators that could really shine bright. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that.
All right. Do you have anything you guys want to say more about CWC2? Free.
I think I'm just really excited to see what happens. It's almost here. We're gonna see what happens. They did announce the challenges, so if you guys want to go to the website zwc.gg, I'm pretty sure is the website link. If you guys want to go check them out. There's gonna be some really fun things coming up ahead with that event, and yeah, can't wait.
All right. Now for the main event. I have been waiting all day for this moment. Let me just say this. I am really excited to hear from Yuija about Z4C3. So Yuija, what can you tell us about it?
So we announced Z4C that Caleb was in the other podcast with Lobster and all of them, and we were excited to announce the event that's finally coming back for this year and for this game. Zazu himself was very excited. He's been planning even before us when we were talking to him about it. He's been very, very excited to finally get this going. So far, we have gotten some players here. We finally made a server, so all these players can be in. like we had last time in Z4C2.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really have any announcements to say, but I do want to announce the players that are currently in the event.
Okay.
And then hopefully maybe today or tomorrow or maybe this week, we might announce some new players to the mix. Obviously, one of the players in the server right now is Revive. So Revive is part of this, he's a player for Z4C. I was about to say ZWC by accident. So here I'm going to announce the players that are currently in the server. That doesn't mean that these are like, there's more spots available. So keep in mind that maybe this week we'll have new players into the server who are going to be participating in this event. So the players are Jason from the Division Z podcast. We also have the Legend 1231, K Cosmic, Clarky SJ, Chuck V107, Joe Met, Too Bad for Xbox, and Expert. Those are the players right now currently that are going to be participating in the event. So if you guys want to go ahead and show love for them for being, invited to the event, go follow them, go share them around. So yeah, I mean, there's not that much to talk about.
Can we hold that thought right there? I just got a message from Zazu that you need to check your DMs.
Yeah, because I asked him, like, are we, what are we going to announce?
I just got, there's something he can say we didn't really mention.
Another thing to note real quick is that Z4C this year, I believe, is going to have, I think, less players,
Oh, yeah.
but definitely a lot more people that are dedicated to really, creating this thing to be really fun. So yeah, I just want to note that we're going to really shoot for people that are definitely dedicated to help the cause, and I can't wait, dude. I'm so excited for that. Like, last year was so fun, even though there was some difficulties with myself, but this year I can't wait, dude. I'm doing everything I can to really can't wait for this next event. But there's a lot of things going on with zombies this year. I think it's definitely great that what we're doing. So, yeah.
For sure. Sazu, well, to mention for me to announce that this isn't going to be the ordinary Z4C that everybody knows. Besides the charity, we're going to be doing a show, like an intermission before, during the Z4C event. So he wants to mention that, and we'll be featuring people that the zombies community loves. So you could probably take your guesses on who's going to be in the event or who's going to be in the show. We'll see what we're going to do with that, but I think that's all we can say for now. Like I said, stay tuned for any new player announcements. Are going to be maybe someone who's watching in here that's a fellow YouTuber, zombies YouTuber. Maybe you would be invited. So we'll see. I can't wait for the event this year. It's going to be fantastic, and it's definitely we're going to try to. And I hope, and I'm know for sure that it's going to happen. That we're definitely going to destroy Z4C2. And share and donation numbers. We're going to make this year the best year for a charity event ever. So that's all we have to say for Z4C3.
All right.
I think it's great. I think I can't wait, and I can't wait for more info, and I think anyone else does too. So, yeah.
I just want to say, it was a huge honor last year to be in Z4C2, and I will be watching with glee you guys in Z4C3. So I hope you guys are going to get a lot. I'm going to try and donate as well. There's going to be some currency issues, but I think I will be able to donate. And I'm going to
We'll find a way. Don't worry.
I'm going to be watching you guys, and it's going to be awesome.
I can't wait for this year. I think this year is going to be, just for zombies in general, especially Z4C, because that's kind of been the thing where it really felt like I actually did something, in the community. Before in zombies, I kind of was just like an outsider, just watching into the community, sort of just not be able to compete, and just not even compete, just be able to feel like I help out. And Z4C 1 and 2 definitely made me feel like I was actually a part of something great that we could do, and I can't wait for this year. It's gonna be great. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I guess we're ending it off here, huh?
Indeed. Is there anything you guys still want to say for today? What you guys want to talk about?
I just, in general, thank you for having me on this podcast.
It was a pleasure.
I'm grateful to be here. So, also that, like I said in the beginning of the show, podcast, I'm gonna be starting on my YouTube channel again. Due to the whole Z4C hype, and I kind of been feeling motivated lately. So, be sure to subscribe to me and stuff like that. To see more, see content. But yeah.
Definitely go do that. Go sub to Yuija.
Check out his DeviantArt page in the description.
Yes. Yes, he is
Yep.
doing great. If you guys didn't know, he's the guy that made the Z4C3, little promo art thing. He's the one that made that. If you guys didn't know, wonderful job. I think it's very unique. I think he's going to be doing some more things in the future for the event, so be able to check him out. He's definitely doing a great job and great work. So,
Yep.
Yeah, you guys go sub to him. I think before we wrap up, I think we should go over just some things that we should expect for the future podcast. Yes, we're probably gonna, today we started a little bit later, but I think, I don't think the time is gonna be set in stone, but we're gonna be doing this podcast every Wednesday.
Yeah.
So make sure to check it out.
Around the
There's gonna be a
same
lot to look
times as
forward to,
beforehand. It just depends on how
Yeah.
everything goes with our special guests.
Yeah, there's gonna be a little bit of buffer time, so don't be afraid if things are a little bit late. We'll probably get as we go on, we'll be more specific to what
Yep.
Everything going on. We'll be able to announce everything with the podcast. So just make sure to be ready because I'm definitely having fun so far. And yeah, I think besides that, I'm not sure what else to talk about, but yeah, anything else to say, Fleming?
Yeah, I just want to give a few shout outs to the people in the chat right here. I'll give a shout out to Newbie, to Fnatic, Menno, Bot, Mr. Choose, Zazu, of course, and Monkey. So,
thank you all.
yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you
guys.
guys for being
Thank you
there,
guys.
watching the podcast. Thank you, Yuija, for being here on such short
Yes,
notice.
sir.
Like, I messaged him a week ago, and then I messaged him this morning. He's like, yeah, sure, I'll join. I'm like, yes. What I can say that if everything goes right, next week's special guest will be Clarky SJ. So that's going to be interesting. So if you
Yes,
have
sir.
any question
Suggestions?
or
Yep.
suggestions for either the podcast or for Clarky, go ahead, message them in my YouTube description. I can tell them to them. Or you can go to Revived or mine's Twitter and DM us. So yeah,
Yes. Also, yeah, leave suggestions for topics for us to talk about as well. And especially Flamer's YouTube comments after the podcast is up. Make sure to put suggestions towards future podcasts. We definitely want to have some more community centered topics, and we can't wait to keep going with you guys. So yeah.
this is a lot of fun, guys, and I am really excited that we started this up. Like, we can just talk
Yes,
about this
sir.
the whole time, and we're having fun. And I hope you guys are having fun as well, even if it's just like downloading this podcast or just watching it live with us, or even rewatching it. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of mine and Revived's heart for tuning in. Like, we're just a small content creator team, and we managed to get 60 streams last week. That is insane. That is insane
Yes,
for
that's
us.
crazy, yeah.
Like, it's just a
That's
little
very
idea that
awesome.
just started out, and it's this big already. So thank you so much for that. So yeah,
Alright, yeah. I can't wait. Yes, dude. I think that's about it, Flamer. I think
Yeah.
I think we went through everything today. Everything with Z4C, ZWC,
mm-hmm.
Treyarch, and everything like that for Cold War. We'll be live next week. You guys don't want to miss it. And yeah. Any last words, Flamer?
Well, I'm just gonna say again, thank you, Yuija, for tuning in here and helping us out with the podcast. I just want to say Yuija is doing a fantastic job on this DeviantArt. Go really check him out. He makes some
Yes.
insane art. Follow him on his Twitter, maybe. And check out his YouTube channel, of course. Hit that sub button, like, and that notification button. So yeah, I'm just gonna do my natural intro. This is your boy, Nusuma Flamer, signing out.
See you guys. Have a great day.
You guys, bye.